Hi, everybody. I'm really looking forward to tonight's webinar on vision, visual perception, and learning. Looks like nobody's here yet, though. There we go. Okay. I got nervous for a second. I see 33 people. Okay, guys, while we wait for everybody to come in, can you say hello and let me know where you guys are from? Also, if you can please go to streamyard.com/Facebook and just validate your name, because it happens a lot where I want to speak to people, but if they haven't validated their name, I can't see their name. So, okay, I see Stephanie Ladd. Oh, someone's saying love the hair. Oh, thanks. I'm officially done with my cancer treatments and my hair is starting to grow back, but I don't love it. But thank you. Okay, we've got Catherine from Delaware, Daniel from New York, Dee Dee from Columbus, Ohio, Maria from Georgia, Monica from New York City, and we've got some Levittown people. Levittown, New York, don't forget to validate your name in facebook.com. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Hello from Missouri, California, New Jersey. This is exciting. From Long Island here, Stephanie. Congrats to you. Thank you. Yes, it feels very nice to say goodbye to the cancer chapter. See you later, Cancer. I'm done with you. Okay, I've got Casey from Kentucky. I like the way that sounds. Andre from Chicago. Wow. Okay, good. We're about 65 people right now. So half of you guys are from YouTube and the other half is from Facebook. I can see you both, but I do still see a lot of people that says Facebook user. So just validate your name for me, guys. Laura Wheeler from Florida. Congrats on being done with treatment. Thank you. It feels good to be done. Diane Myers, Tabitha. Awesome. Diane, where are you from? Yonkers, New York. I hope that you guys are in the New York School-Based OTs and PTs Looking for Change Coalition. So we're advocating for change for OT within the New York State Education Department. I always have to sneak that in. Okay, we got Michigan. Lisa Godell, where are you from? Becky Bauer from Indiana. We've got Knoxville. Hiya Gottsman, loving your hair. Oh, thank you, Hiya. I hope you're well. Good. Lots of people tuning in now. This is awesome. So I'm seeing some thumbs up too, you guys. If you're here, give me a thumbs up, because then Facebook will promote the video more and then we'll get to reach even more OTs and teachers and help even more kids, which would be awesome. Okay, we've got Nebraska. We've got more New York City. Asha, Joan Troiano, New Jersey, Colorado, Kingston. Awesome. So my dear Kim is my virtual assistant who I love to death, and I just want to ask her if I gave the right link when I said streamyard.com/Facebook. I can't remember. Is it facebook.com/streamyard? I should know that by heart by now, but I don't. Okay. Arkansas, Cassandra, more New Yorkers. Awesome. Okay, so I think this name is Ayn Farrell from Ireland. Welcome. I love Ireland. I'm Irish, and I have some very good friends that live there. Okay, Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. All right, guys. So are you guys ready for some interesting stuff about vision and visual perception? We're going to be also giving away prizes because it's kind of like my favorite thing to do. Let me know if you're ready in the comments. Also, if you did validate your name, just make another comment so that you can check to see if it worked. Okay, let's move on. It is officially 7:05. Okay. All right. So, for those of you who are new and don't know me, I am a school-based occupational therapist full time. I did take last year off to deal with my health issues with cancer, but in general, and for the past 22 years, I've been a full-based school OT. So that is one thing that kind of sets me apart a little bit from most of the other OT bloggers because a lot of them actually stopped working to be at home with their children and they're not actually in the schools anymore. So I think I mean, that's awesome too, but I think actually being in the heart of it, in the thick of it, dealing with the annual reviews and sweating over the evals that you got last minute helps me relate to you guys a little more. And also, I feel like it helps me stay fresh with keeping up with what's going on with the curriculum, what's going on in, with the state directives and all that other good stuff. I have my bachelor's in OT and my master's in special education, and I'm a passionate school occupational therapy advocate. So, if you don't know that about me, that's a very big piece of who I am and what I do. I feel strongly that OTs and PTs throughout the USA should be treated equally to other related service providers and teachers. So I advocate and I do a lot of speaking about that topic because we're often considered civil service. So that impacts everything, how we're hired, how we're paid, how we're treated, why we're working in the hallways. Um, I'm a national speaker. I was lucky enough to be the one of the keynote speakers at the Children and Youth Conference a couple of years ago. I've spoken at AOTI many, many times. I will be speaking at the Children and Youth Conference this December in New Orleans, so I'm excited about that. I'm also an author, multiple books published, and one I'll be talking about tonight. I'm also a research mentor for Touro University in New York, in Long Island. And I love this because it helps me stay up to date on research topics. And I've been doing my own research again about how the fact that OT and PT we're kind of segregated from everybody else, how that impacts us. I love it. Everybody's saying, ready, ready, ready for fun, ready for learning. Amy Manley, hello. Lauren Peplinski, awesome. Kim, I think you're logged in as me because it says Miss Jamie OT is ready. Awesome. Ann Bloomer from Massachusetts. Good. Got lots of people coming in. This is awesome. I love, love, love having more OTs and teachers to communicate and figure this out. AB is saying, I really appreciate your advocacy and experience. You stand out from the rest in the online OT space. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I usually think I stand out because of the Long Island accent, but got to be different. And the last piece is I officially just became a certified women-owned business. So all about female empowerment. Not that we don't love our men, of course we do, but I would do wonder if a piece of us not not fighting enough and not being not advocating enough. Does it go with us being females? I don't know. Part of me thinks it does, but that is what I'm researching that whole entire topic. Cassandra is saying, not familiar with the Children and Youth Conference. So this is a specialty conference that AOTA puts on once a year. It's much smaller than the big Inspire AOTA conference, but it's very specific to us, to pediatric OT and school OT and just all things children. So it's really, really good. Wendy Brandt, the packets you email to me make my holidays. Oh, good. I love them. I always love getting a good new freebie or a new activity idea right around the holidays as well, because you're swamped with everything you're doing and you just need a good thing to do with all your kids. So anyway, that's a little bit about me and why I'm here to speak with all of you tonight. So I do love to give away prizes, and I'm excited to talk about our sponsor for this webinar. It's Miss Haley OT. She has an Etsy shop and she's also on Instagram. You can check her out. You can see the most adorable t-shirt that she made. I saw it and I was like, I'm hooked on this. Regulation before expectation. Isn't that just like the perfect thing? I need that shirt in my life. So I contacted Miss Haley OT and we are in touch, and she's sponsoring the webinar. So we have prizes to give away to 2 lucky winners. In order to win, you have to stay till the end and comment. I won't know you're here and that you're here at the end if you're not commenting. So comment it up, and the more times we see your name, the more chance you have of winning a awesome water bottle from Miss Haley OT. So check out this one. Oh, let me go big. Hold on a sec. Oop. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Silly Jamie. Okay, yeah. Check this out. Occupational therapy. So cute. I love this one. And it's like everything's so nice and cold. Okay. And then I have this other one too. I love this one too. So cute. Helping small hands do big things. Hashtag pediatric OT. How cute is that? So, what I want to do is tell you a little bit about Haley because she's the exactly kind of person I love to promote and help and support. She's a new business. She just started. She's been a CODA for 13 years, and the last 4 have been in pediatrics. So, she's an autism certified specialist and also ADHD, she's certified in. She has 6 no, I'm sorry, mom. She's the mom to 5 children, one with level 1 autism and SPD, and a 9-year-old girl with severe ADHD. So obviously, she seems to me like what a go-getter. Definitely has her hands full. And here she is opening up her side hustle as she gets her master's from being a CODA to an OTR. Love that. You go, girl. I'm all about it. So I'm excited to share her stuff with you guys and help promote her as she's helping to sponsor my webinar. So here she is. Isn't she so cute? And here is her Instagram and here is her Etsy. She's having a big sale right now. On top of that, she offered to give a coupon code to anybody who is, she does have a Facebook. Sorry, Laura Peplinski. She does have an Instagram. The Facebook, I'm not sure if it's her exactly her shop, but if you could just Google Miss Haley OT, all of her stuff will come up. The water bottles are awesome. I really, really love them as like a gift for another OT. What a cute like Christmas gift for your coworker, or even a back to school gift, birthday gift, whatever. These are the kind of things that we're always needing water, even though we usually don't have time to run to the bathroom during the day, but we got to stay hydrated, right? Um, Someone is saying can't show the pages you're talking about if you're trying to show them. I'm not sure what pages you're talking about. Are you talking about Miss Haley's pages? Because I was just showing the stuff that she had to showcase some of her stuff. Let's take a look. We did this one, and then okay, there. Can you guys see this? Really, really cute stuff. She's also got adorable t-shirts and with great sayings like, eat, eat, OT, sleep, repeat, that kind of good, cute stuff. Very, very adorable. Cute graphic design. And she makes them all herself. So I'm like, I don't know if she sleeps. Doesn't seem like it, but she's someone that I'm very impressed by. So I'm happy to get working with her. Just want to remove this comment so that everybody can see the next thing we're going to do. Okay, let's start talking about vision. Enough of this chitter chatter, Jamie. We, as OTs, as school OTs, are very often an important part of assessing and being aware of children's visual deficits. In fact, we're pretty much the few OTs or the few school professionals who do. So I'm going to talk about what other school professionals have a piece of it, but this is my favorite quote about visual deficits, and it's by Mitchell Scheinman. He says, to be maximally effective in their therapy, occupational therapists should understand the complexity and importance of vision and how visual deficits can interfere with occupation. So this totally is not just about children, but for me, I really read that and I'm like, it's so true. If you don't understand that whole piece about vision and visual perception, you're really missing a giant piece of the puzzle. So it's really important to seek out the information, or even if you're not in a place to have additional training or anything like that, just we've got to refer those parents to get the kids' eyes checked, because very often it looks like something else and it can be vision or visual perception. So if I was in the 8th grade, this would be my OT scrapbook. Can you guys see my 2 men, the 2 loves of my life? I love OT experts, and I have like an OT crush on these 2 guys. Mitchell Scheiman, he's the one that I just quoted. He wrote the book, Managing Visual Deficits. I'm going to show a picture of it in a minute. It's like the Bible of vision issues. And I devoured it when I was making my Vision 101 course because I just learned so much. What I love about him on top of it all is that he's married to an OT. So he really gets it from an OT perspective. So if you ever have a chance, if you're ever at a conference, I love to use, like when I go to the AOTA conference or the state conference, I love that perspective where you can put in who you want to search. And I always search for like my favorite speakers and the people I love to learn from. And then if Mitchell pops up, you guys got to go see him. He's amazing. Then we've got Robert Constantine. I love Robert Constantine too. We have such a good banter. He is the person who trained me in vision and has mentored me for many, many years now. And um, we created Vision 101 together in order to get this information out there to the public because a lot of OTs haven't had proper training in it and it impacts our kids. We really need to be aware of the vision deficits in our kids' learning and how it can impact how it can impact them in the classroom. So I'm having a few comments here. Someone's saying, thank you for the kind words. Not sure who that is. Might be Mitchell. Maybe it's Robert. Someone else is saying, love the size of the water bottle. Yes. Okay. The discount code. I'm sorry. I thought that I shared that. Here we go. Miss Haley OT, coupon code MJOT25. That should get you 25% off. She's also having a big sale, like buy one, get something. I should have written it down. I'm sorry, but I saw it today and I noted to myself, ooh, I better get back there before the end of the week for back to school. So I just wanted to tell you about these two guys. They are just really phenomenal. They're just so knowledgeable. And anytime you can hear them speak, I highly suggest that you do. Thank you. Tanya is saying Vision 101 is an amazing course. Thank you. I love it as well. And then Amy, one of the best courses I've ever taken. Awesome. Yeah. This is so great. Okay. So let's move on. We've got things to learn, things to accomplish. Okay. This is a biggie. This is a biggie. So here's the book I was just talking about, Mitchell on the bottom, the Vision Deficits book. I love it. I know, I mean, not many people buy textbooks. Like when I was just a treating OT, I didn't buy textbooks. I just Googled everything I wanted to know. And that's pretty fine. But if you're looking to do research, or if you're looking to write a paper or an article or anything like that, I really suggest this vision book if that's what you're working on and that's what you're working about. The other book on top is the best practice for occupational therapy in schools. I like both of these books a lot. I use them a lot. Like mine, I'm such a geek. Mine are all like highlighted up and, with pages folded and, all of that other good stuff. But this is what IDEA says, because a lot of times administrators don't understand the whole role. And with that, they may kind of say, oh, that's not OT. Vision isn't OT. You guys are fine motor. You guys are sensory. We get pigeonholed into these little categories, but vision absolutely is within our scope of practice. So if we look at what IDEA says, a visual impairment, which is one of the classifications for special ed, is any impairment in vision that affects a child's educational performance. And then it goes on to say, or I should say, the Office of Special Education and Rehab Services kind of goes on to clarify that this includes ocular pathology, brain injury, and ocular motor issues. I was so glad to see that piece, ocular motor issues, because for me, working in a typical public school, I really don't have children with severe medical issues anymore. I rarely have anybody with a brain injury or anything like that. So while I think that's very important for those of you who are working with those populations, especially anyone who's working in BOCES or anything like that, to me, it's the ocular motor issues that I see again and again. And these kiddos just can't move their eyes. So we know that we look at kids' range of motion, right? We look at the range of motion in their arms, their legs, all this other stuff. We need to look at the range of motion in their eyes as well, because they're using their eyes constantly for reading, writing, catching, walking in the hall, all that good stuff. Like they get all their information or most of their information through their eyes. So I was really glad to read that when I was doing my research and trying to come up with resources to provide with you guys about, like, for your administrator. I've had people say to me, "Oh, my administrator is saying no, I can't take the course because that's not OT." And it was hard to kind of find. It was like a little piece of info here, little piece of info there, and I had to put it all together. And these were some of the good resources that I found. The next couple of things that I recently found, and I wanted to share them with you. I sent the link, it's a Dropbox link in the email that I sent this morning. And I will send the link as well, the Dropbox link to these documents in the email with the replay that I send you in the morning. Okay. So this was a letter from the US Department of Education that they sent it to all of the state directors of special ed, which is amazing and wonderful. So basically, the US Department of Education realized that the states weren't getting it, or the states had a lot of confusion. It wasn't black and white. It wasn't, this is what the kids need, this is what they get. It was kind of like, well, that might be medical, or that's not an OT thing. So they clarified it, not necessarily about OT, but about what visual issues qualify as an educational problem. And I highlighted the part that I really love, that visual impairment, including blindness. Oh, states may not use any criteria other definitions for visual impairments, including blindness, that result in the exclusion of children who meet the definitions. So basically, they're saying you're not allowed to say, oh, it's convergence. That's not an educational issue. It doesn't go that way. And we always know that it doesn't go that way. It's about how is this problem impacting our child's ability to access their curriculum. And it basically also says that they may not exclude a child with convergence insufficiency or another visual impairment, because sometimes we'll get a medical um, a medical letter from a doctor that diagnoses a child with, let's say, accommodative disorder or a binocular vision issue. And our administrators kind of say, oh, but that's medical then. And they need to go to the eye doctor. Yes, it is medical, but we are on that fine line. We do have the medical background, but we're using it along with our educational knowledge to impact the child's education, whether we're accommodating what they get in the classroom, or we're doing a little bit of remediation or educating the teacher, whatever it is, we need to know this. So I just felt really strongly to everybody, open this Dropbox link and save these documents for yourself so that you always have them if a special ed administrator needs the proof, kind of. It's just super important. So the other one that I wanted to show you, this other document, was a woman named Marlene. I think I made a banner for Marlene, did I? I meant to. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Marlene Z. She sent me this letter. She was a teacher of the visually impaired, a TVI, and she sent me this other letter that the US Department of Education sent. It's all the way from 2013. So 10 years have gone by. And how many people, let me see it in the comments, have had an issue with higher up, or maybe even other colleagues, not understanding exactly what constitutes a visual impairment. So this really goes into what the evaluation needs to include. And it says that the evaluation, it's not referring to the occupational therapy evaluation, it's referring to the whole evaluation, which can be the occupational therapy evaluation and the special ed eval and the psych eval and everything. But we are the ones who have the most medical and background knowledge, and we do have vision within our scope of practice. So we can include those assessments in our occupational therapy evaluations. You can see it right here highlighted that the evaluation must be comprehensive enough to identify all of the child's special needs and related services. So I think these two documents are really powerful. I literally kind of just got them the other day. So I will hopefully, I'm going to put it on my to-do list to make a one-page handout with these quotes. I do have other handouts that kind of support OTs working in vision, but this stuff kind of just nails it down. We have it within the scope of practice and the kids need it and someone has to do it. Who's going to do it? So let's look at the school OT, the school professionals who might have a little bit of a role in our kids' vision. We've got the school physician. Did you guys know that schools, I think, are legally mandated to have a physician? The reason why I'm unclear about this is because in 22 years of working in a public school, I have never, ever met or even heard of the school physician being involved in any of our cases. So I would love to hear in the comments if any of you guys have experienced that. Have you worked with the school physician? I know that there's supposed to be a relationship with a school physician in case the school needs one, but I have never ever met one or worked with one or anything like that. So in terms of the general population, how much is this person doing? I can't judge. All I can say is from my own experience and from what I know about Long Island occupational therapy, Long Island school districts, the school physician is not really, it's kind of like someone that they're contracted to in case they need them in a medical emergency or some kind of really significant case. So I'm okay. I'm seeing comments here. I'm clicking because this is a very interesting topic, and I really want to know if other people have heard of the school physician. So no, I have not. I don't think we have one. Never. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one because sometimes I worry like, "Ooh, I shouldn't say that that's how it is. Maybe that's just how it is where I work." But it's. Okay. Andy Sams. Info is amazing. I had a mom to ask and I didn't know how. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt before I sought out Robert Constantine and got the training and followed up with him because it's not something that we're really trained in and it's very important. So, oh, here's the good old Kim in the comments. So if you guys, she did this in Facebook. Kim, can you also put this in YouTube? The This is the Dropbox link, but don't stress it. I don't want you guys to like be rushing off to other links and all this other stuff. I'd rather have you focus and pay attention. I will send you the link tomorrow, and I did send you the link this morning. So no worries on getting that. So, okay, let's get back to biz. Okay, then we've got the school nurse. So the school nurse checks the children's vision yearly, and it's literally a quick screening for an eye test. I think that that's great, but it's certainly not enough. And it really doesn't screen for the most common visual problems that our kids have. Checking, having a kid stand at a distance and read an eye chart is looking at their far vision. So far vision is looking at the board. Most kids who have visual issues and it really impacts their learning, it's a difficulty with their near vision. So they may have difficulty seeing up close, which is what's at their desk, what they're reading, what they're writing. So there are symptoms that I'm going to talk about in a minute for kids who have near vision, not necessarily far vision. So that means that the nurse is screening for something that really doesn't, it just really doesn't impact the kids that much. The great thing about it is that she can tell the parents, like, "Ooh, I think they might have a little something going on. Please go get an eye exam." But that's something that we all need to be saying. We really all need to drive it home. And I personally always try to find out if the child had an eye exam prior to an OT eval. When I do the OT eval, one of my questions when I reach out to the parent right away is, have they had an eye exam? And if so, can I please have the report? Did they see anything? What kind of eye doctor did you take them to? Because different eye doctors are trained in different ways and they have different theories and they'll check different things. So it's kind of a hit or miss. But the long story short is that the nurse does a very quick, brief 2-second look. It's nothing it's not comprehensive, and it's not really going to look at how the child's learning. Then we have us, and we are educated with a medical background, but we're working in the schools, so we understand vision, we understand learning, we understand visual information processing or visual perceptual skills. And we are involved in the kids' general education, we're involved, as well as special education, we're involved. So we're kind of all over the place. So who better to really be a part of the vision screening? I think OTs are where it's at, and that's why I love to do this. So someone's saying, after I completed the V101, I had success with parents going to vision therapy and improvements were noted along with those needs addressed on the IEP. That is so awesome, Victoria. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's very cool. And that's why I do this, because I feel like, how many kids are we missing? When I first got trained, and then I went back into the schools and I started doing my thing, and I was now including vision where I had previously kind of overlooked it a little. I was floored by the amount of children that had ocular motor issues, not just they need glasses and I figured it out, but stuff really going on with their eyes not working together, or that they can't look from far away to close quickly. That all impacts how our kids are taking in the information. So, what Robert Constantine from Vision 101 loves to say is, floppy kids have floppy eyes. When we think about all our kids that have low tone, their eyes might be low tone as well. So it's going to be harder for them to do what they need to do. It's going to be harder for them to move their eyes the way they need to in order to read, write, copy, do all the things. So he also says eyes are just like elbows, meaning we would assess if a child had an elbow that didn't work, we wouldn't just ignore it. We would try to figure out how to accommodate for it, or how to get it back to working so that the child can function. Same thing with the eyes. We don't just, forget about the eyes. Really important. And then the last professional is the teacher of the visually impaired. So there's a few names for this person. They might be the vision teacher, they might be the TVI, the vision therapist, but they're not really a vision therapist. They're actually a special ed professional who has specialty training on vision and visual accommodations. So where I work, we have one person that we generally contract out to. So we'll contract with BOCES, let's say, and then we have Miss Carmen. And Miss Carmen comes to my school district and she'll see the 4 children that are on her caseload. Most of the children that in my background are being referred to the TVI actually have a low vision, which is still a visual impairment. It needs to be addressed. But the children who are slipping through the cracks are the ones who have binocular vision issues and ocular motor issues and range of motion in their eye issues and things like that. In my experience, again, I can't say what's going on in your school district. I would love to hear in the comments what you guys see. But in my experience, the teacher of the visually impaired works with very few students, generally works one-to-one. Definitely very important that they consult with the educational team, but there's not a lot of collaboration from what I've seen. Again, because they're generally not an employee of the district. So, I would love to hear in the comments what's your experience with that? Do you have the same experience or no? I'm just going to look at some of the comments while you guys answer that question. Any suggestions on helping tackle preliminary vision screening for more behavioral kids? So sometimes, I mean, it depends on what behaviors we're talking about. I mean, if you're saying, oh, this child is like aggressive and violent and he won't let me do the vision screening, that's different than, is this child so inattentive and just can't focus and is so impulsive? Very often that can be due to a vision problem. Bottom line is, any kind of vision screening or visual testing is better than nothing. So if you can't do it, if it's too much, I would do it tiny piece by tiny piece. One day assess their range of motion, one day assess their near to far. Do the best you can. Obviously use things that they enjoy. If they have a favorite character or a favorite toy, do that. Even if you're just using your clinical observation skills, you're still getting very valuable information that could be the key to a big puzzle. For our inattentive kiddos and our kids who are super impulsive and can't maintain visual eye contact, sometimes our children with autism, they just can't keep the visual focus, and that's very hard to then assess. not necessarily the autistic children, not the ones who have that poor visual fixation, but the ones who can't pay attention, that they look for a minute and they look away and they're so inattentive, that can very often be due to the fact that looking is uncomfortable. If their eyes aren't working properly together, if one is stronger than the other and kicking the other eye out, or if it hurts and causes a headache because their brain is trying to screen out the eye that's blurry so that this eye can see well, it's straining. So we do have to be very aware of eye strain, and eye strain can definitely cause behaviors. If, however, there's nothing wrong with saying to the parent, I'm concerned about his vision. I definitely really recommend that you take the child for a vision exam, and say, I use these words, not just about needing glasses. I'm concerned about his tracking and his scanning. He needs a binocular vision exam. So generally that is an optometrist that does that. Not all of our parents have access to that. Not all of our parents have insurance. Any eye screening is better than nothing. And even if it's just you, you still are an important piece of the puzzle, and you are someone who can provide a lot of valuable information to the team. So this is Becky saying something that comes up a lot. A lot of the concern is that we worry the school will be held responsible for vision therapy if the suggestion is not carefully worded. I agree. And I mean, that is like letting a whole can out of the whole can of worms, right? Let's open a can of worms. Now we're responsible for everything under the sun. However, if it's careful wording that is needed, then get that careful wording from your special ed director or whoever it is that's in charge, and make sure that everybody has a script and use it. It's better than not saying anything. It is our ethical obligation to bring up concerns that we have. You know, we're the ones who are educated in this. We are the highly qualified professionals, right? So we need to, I mean, I do understand the pressure from admins to not do that. I understand the pressure as an admin. I had some experience being an admin for a little while, and I understood you can't just say, you know, okay, we'll do it. Okay, we'll do it. There's a budget, and you know, you have to save that budget for the children who really do qualify. But if it's careful wording, then get the careful wording. My careful wording, in case anyone wants to know, I say to the parent, I did the evaluation. You know, he's so cute. Everything went great. I did have some concerns about his visual tracking and scanning, or about his eye movements, something very basic. Because, and then I'll say, you know, I'm not a vision therapist and I'm certainly not an eye doctor, but I am trained in how to look at how the eyes move, or if you're not, say, but I do look at the movement in his eyes, and I just noticed that when he's looking from left to right, there was some skipping. I just wonder if that impacts reading. So if you could possibly follow up with your doctor and just let's rule that out. Let's make sure that that's not an important piece of the puzzle that we're missing. And I put it as a proactive measure, and it is a proactive measure. And I've never had a problem with that. Very often, too, the parent will say to me, do you have any doctor that you suggest? And I always have the information ready. I want them to see an optometrist. I want them to see an optometrist who may do vision therapy in their office, because then I know that they follow the philosophy that vision therapy works, that eye movement disorders matter. Not that ophthalmologists don't, but that's what I've learned. I've learned that ophthalmologists are just more concerned about, can the eyes see and are the eyes healthy, and not necessarily how does what the eyes see and what the brain receives work together, and how does then come out and impact the functioning. That's the optometrist that does that. So a lot of people are saying that you have these same concerns. So, okay. And someone's saying that's an issue of payment on the outside clinical services. So some insurance companies will cover it. So that's another thing to say to the parent. Definitely check out your insurance company, look up developmental optometry, look up vision therapy. I've had a couple of issues where the parent was like, this is thousands of dollars. Do I really need to do this? In which case, I have said, if you have the evaluation and you send it in to me with suggestions of what the student needs, there are a lot of things that are within my scope of practice that I can do to help him. and that I can show you how to help him. So I've had students where I made some videos of fun activities that we're working on visual tracking and put a straw in your mouth, and now we put the Cheerios on because he needs to work on near to far, and I send it to the parent, and then the parent starts doing it at home. Anything is better than nothing, and we do have to feel, we have a lot of families, especially with everything that's going on in the economy, that just don't have the money for all of this, and if we can help them, then we can and we should. Someone else is saying, PT and I collaborate around positioning to facilitate vision in highly involved students. That's awesome. So, where do you work, Christina Levos? I'm interested to hear about that. That's very, very, very cool. A lot of good comments in here. So, someone's saying, and this is kind of goes along with what I said, our district discourages us from recommending testing. But that's a medical issue. I mean, you would recommend that they take the kid to the dentist, right? So why can't we say, has he had, we're supposed to focus on health and promotion of the public and of our children. So I think it's just a generic recommendation with a little bit of specific help for Johnny or Susie. But I know what you mean. Oh, Colorado. Okay, cool. All right. So I guess the point of this whole slide, the end of the story, is that as school occupational therapists, we are the most positioned and the most accessible to our students to work on vision and look at vision and teach other educators about vision. So it's just important to know. And if you don't have the training, not that you need to necessarily go out and do all this expensive training, but there's tons of blog posts out there. There's lots of free information that you can look at, YouTube videos. I know me, myself, I have at least 10, maybe not 10. I have a lot of free YouTube videos on vision stuff that I think is fun and interesting and just great ways to incorporate it into your sessions. So these are some of the signs of vision difficulties, which are often misdiagnosed as something else. Our kids with vision difficulties might have very poor attention. And as I said again, it might be that this is hurting them. They might be rubbing their eyes, difficulty reading. If their eyes are skipping all over, you could see where they have poor reading comprehension because they might be missing every other word or every fourth word, or maybe they're, going from the top line to the third line instead of going neatly from left to right. If their muscles aren't strong enough and in sync to do this, then how are they reading and then understanding? And then, by the way, answer the question neatly. It's like, when you really think about how much is incorporated into it, it's a lot for our kids. This can impact their visual perception for sure. If the vision and fine motor, vision and fine motor make up visual motor. So if there's an issue here, it's going to impact here. If there's an issue here, it's going to impact here. So it just trickles, there's a giant trickle down effect, which is, very important for us to be aware of. Reading disabilities. If you have a child reading disability, dyslexia, I'm finding that most of the time when I have a student who's dyslexic and really struggling with reading, there are ocular motor issues. And there's a lot of statistics about it too. We go into it in our Vision 101 class. It's just too much to go into here, but it's definitely very true. So if you have the knowledge, you can even train the literacy teachers in your class on vision activities that they can do for a few minutes at the end of their class session or at the beginning for a warm up, anything like that. There's also a lot of visual accommodations that we can be aware of for the environment. So some people are sharing right here. So Facebook user, I love this comment, but don't forget to validate your name so that you are eligible to win a prize. So don't forget, guys, the more you comment and stay till the end, and you're eligible to win a prize from Miss Haley's cute shop. Thanks, Kim. So that Facebook user said that the classrooms are often dimly lit. I think the teachers do that for like regulation to keep the kids like calm and things like that. And that's a good strategy, but we have to be careful that it works for all of the children, and it might not work for our children with visual issues. And then also the visual clutter. Many times classrooms have I mean, just stuff everywhere. And if we have a child who struggles with visual focusing and now they're looking at the board and they have to remember what they just looked at and get it here, but their eyes have to go past that bulletin board. And then that boy is over there picking at his pencil. And now, oh, what's Mrs. Haynes doing? And da, da, da. Oh, wait, what was I looking at? Oh, I was supposed to write that. Let me look again. And as he goes to look again, he looks at all the other things. You can see where that child's not going to have good reading comprehensions or good functional output, is really what I want to say. Very often, when you go to the classroom to do the eval and you ask the teacher, what's the story? How is this student? I have started now actually sending a Google form with all of my questions for the teacher a week before the eval so that I can get a heads up as to where are the issues. So one of my questions is, do you know if they've had a vision exam? 90% of the time, the teacher does not know. I get it. They have 20 kids and it's not something that they usually ask. It would be great if we could get them to start asking and start sending a report that the eyes are good or whatever. But when you go to the teacher may say, oh, this kid is so sensory. You don't know. He cannot stay in his seat. He's constantly avoiding doing his work. He gets up to do his pencil 3 times and then he drops his pencil and he goes down and picks it up and he's just not sitting and doing his work. If this child has issues that are causing eye strain, he's looking away. Let's think about when we're in the car for 6 hours. When we finally get out, we're like, oh my God, oh, and you're trying to stretch out your muscles. You'll do anything to change the position to avoid the discomfort. Same thing with our kiddos who have visual issues. So it's not always sensory, it's not always ADHD. Most children with autism do have accompanying eye issues. Same thing with developmental disabilities. So it is something that we definitely really need to know about. Another thing is that our kids with multiple disabilities, sometimes the parents may feel that the student is nonverbal. They can't communicate what they see. They're not going to be able to read the letters, things like that. It really doesn't matter. Any child can have a vision exam. It's called a retinoscopy, and this can be for any child who um, is brought into the doctor. You just have to ask for the retinoscopy, and they just basically do a dilation of the eye, and they can look at the eye to see if the eye is able to adjust to different stimuli, etc. So that's just one important point that I wanted you guys to know. So one other very important point that I wanted you guys to know is that these cute little adaptive ear grips exist for our kids whose eyeglasses are always slipping off their nose. Interesting little tidbit. They're available on Amazon. They're really cute. They work great. They come in a pack of 10. They're super cheap. So, especially our children with Down syndrome and other like chromosomal disorders, there's often facial characteristics that go with that. That includes a flattened bridge of the nose, and it makes their glasses fall off. If they have glasses, we want to make sure they're using them great. So, check those out. Keep that in your toolbox when you have a kiddo whose eyeglasses are always slipping. So, I want to talk a little bit about the traditional eye exam, and I did get into that before. This is what the kind of old school eye exam used to look like. This is not the one that I guess I say, I want the kid to get because it's not as comprehensive. It really just looks at, can they see? Do they have eye health issues, refractive disorders? That's it. Do they need glasses? Are their eyes healthy? Okay, bye. What we really want is a comprehensive 3-component model. Now, my Mitchell, who I have an OT crush on, has this in his book and he's a big fan of it. It explains vision, visual information processing, which is visual perception, visual integrity, which is visual acuity, and basically, do they need glasses? Because, of course, that is an important piece of the puzzle. And then also visual efficiency, eye movements, accommodation near to far, and how the kid's eyes work together. That is much more comprehensive, and we can learn a lot more from that kind of evaluation. So we OTs really should be recommending a complete eye exam. In your handout from this webinar is an eye exam reminder that you can use and send out to all your teachers, especially when you're going to do, and I like to give them to all my kids in the beginning of the year with like, hi, I'm Jamie. I'm going to be your OT. I send that eye exam. It's very helpful. And in your packet, it's also there in Spanish. So ideally, we want the exam to be done by an optometrist. But again, if the family can't get there and they only have something else, any eye professional is better than not. So when you're assessing visual skills, the school practitioner needs to know informal observation. You're going to include what you see or what the teacher sees, teacher input, standardized testing. This is within our scope. There are a few different standardized tests that we can use, the King-Devick, the Visual Skills Appraisal, the DEM, and they all will actually give us a standard score on what's going on with our children's vision. That can be included in your school occupational therapy eval. We also want to ask the students' input, especially for the older ones. Sometimes our kids will come out with something that you're like, oh my goodness. He said, of course he sees two. He didn't know that everybody didn't see two of everything. And you're like, oh my God, how did he not tell me? He didn't tell you because he thinks it's normal and he thinks that you do it too. So it is important for us to ask about what the kid feels. The functional difficulties that we can see. There's a ton of free functional difficulty checklists on the internet. This one, I'm just showing a picture of the one that I include in my Vision 101 course. But again, you can simply Google it and there's lots to find out about. But it's good to get an idea of the behavioral implications, such as, always looking away, always avoiding reading tasks, complaining of headaches, things like that. Then you have academic issues, gross motor issues. They're clumsy, tripping. They might be terrible at sports. If they can't see far, they're going to be terrible at sports. If their two eyes aren't working together, they're not going to be able to catch a ball. So there's a lot functionally that impacts. And again, that all goes to us as to we're the ones who look at all those areas of functioning, right? No other school professional does. You also, when you're doing a visual screening, you want to look at their ocular motor movements. Again, I have some YouTube videos on this that will give you an overview. You want to look at their tracking, their saccades, which is looking up and down, near and far, and then their near vision focusing. Convergence is the one that I see the most. The kids really struggle to look far and then come in and have their eyes continue to focus towards going in. You may see one eye going out or the two eyes aren't going at the same time. It's, definitely going to impact what the kids are seeing. Okay. Convergence insufficiency checklist. Again, there's many of these on the internet. I will include a link to a free one in tomorrow's email, but this is something that's widely available. I like to go over it with my kids that are like third grade and up. I have used it with younger kids, but I think third grade and up, they have more body awareness so they can answer the questions. The questions are like, do your eyes hurt when you're reading? Do you feel pulling at your eyes and things like that? And then you can score it. And if the kid gets a score over a certain amount, it's indicative of convergence insufficiency. So you can have this information and say to the parent, I did this checklist and it says that it seems like you might have convergence. So definitely take this to your physician and follow up because we want to just rule that out. That's what I always say. We need to rule that out. We don't want that to be a piece of the puzzle that's missing. We need to also talk about the impact of COVID-19. The use of screens has gone through the roof. So with that, there is now an increase in myopia. That means our kids have good vision seeing close, poor vision seeing far. So they can't see the board. They can't see a ball coming at them. They're not really even outside playing ball. Even in the classroom, when they were previously doing things that were not involving a screen, now they're using and doing their reading and their math on a computer. And usually the computer's right here. I mean, our kiddos' desks is only this big, right? So it's not like they can get further away. Do assess when you walk into a classroom, the positioning of the kids and how close their screens are. I like to put a sticker on the desk and I say, I want to be able to see that sticker, Johnny. Okay. Stop pulling your computer all the way to the front. Not only is that terrible ergonomically for their hands, but it's not good for their eyes at all. So these are some things to be aware of. Their fine and gross motor skills have also declined. again, it's because their homework is on the computer, their classwork is on the computer, and now their social skills are on the computer, right? I mean, it's just taking over, and it is important that we tell the teacher, make sure you take screen breaks, make sure you push it away, and then for the parents, get those kids outside. They need to be working their far vision system. They need to be catching a ball and throwing at a target and, kicking a ball and playing hide and seek and looking for their friend down the block. They need to be using those muscles, because we all know if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So as OTs, we are so used to doing visual perceptual testing, right? I mean, it's like secondhand nature. We know it by heart. However, why would we be testing visual perception if we're not sure if their vision is working? This is a huge, important piece of the puzzle. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. I used to always just do the VMI and the MVPT, because those were the only ones I had, because I was poor and I was a brand new grad and I had to buy my own stuff because I was a contract person. So I did these 2 tests on everybody. Definitely not appropriate. We need to be testing the areas comprehensively to make sure that we're really getting the information about the child's skills and the child's disability, right? So the vision piece is really, really there. So the new model of visual, Mitchell, my guy Mitchell, he says that visual perceptual skills is actually visual information processing. I mean, it's 6 dozen, half a dozen, 6 the other. It's all the same. Doesn't matter. It's interchangeable, just so long as we know that there's a lot of words for visual perception. And it's a huge umbrella of different skills. And our kiddos need all of them to read, to learn, to play, to, just to function. So these are the 3 different categories. We have visual spatial skills, visual analysis, and visual motor. Some of these terms are very common in our testing, in our screenings, in our evaluations. Some of them are kind of different. Laterality, I don't really use that word, but I am very aware of the fact that my kids struggle with left and right and knowing what side of their body is what. And directionality, where they're going, they really struggle. So these are important pieces of visual processing. It all goes together and they all work together and make a big piece of the puzzle. So I just want to talk a little bit about the freebies that I gave you and how you can use them in your. Lauren is saying, can you please include the links to the men? You mean my crushes, my scrapbook page? Yes, I will do that. It's Robert Constantine and Mitchell Scheinman. But yes, I will include that. But let's talk about this rubric. Okay. So there's multiple rubrics in your freebie packet. And a rubric is a really great way to keep track of how our kids are progressing. You can use a standard rubric that you get from somebody or that you get offline, or you can create your own. Just because it's not standardized and it's not formal doesn't mean it's not progress monitoring, right? So I'm going to just go in to get out of here so you can see it a little better. There's a few different rubrics in here and a blank one. So I like to do a simple 3, 2, 1, 0. 0 is they absolutely can't do what I'm trying to assess. 3 is they're awesome at it, they've achieved it. And then I have 2 and 1. And if I need to, I will write in the goal. And believe me, I don't, I don't get all fancy and I don't do anything super. I just, let's say the child's goal is to read a 10-sentence paragraph and pick out 5 of their vocabulary words. I can, write the goal at the top, and then I'll say, 3 would be that they could do 8 of them. 2 would be that they could find 4 of the vocabulary words. 1, they're only finding 2 of the vocabulary words, and 0 is they cannot find any of the vocabulary words. So then I'm going to write on the other side, okay, I used a ruler, I used a reading tracker. It took 15 minutes to do the 10 lines, etc. As long as you set it up for Johnny and you use it the same way every time you progress monitor, then you'll have some amazing information. On the bottom is a simple tracker where you put the date and their score. So you can look up at what you defined these numbers as, and then open it when you're working with Johnny and say, okay, you've got 2 minutes to dribble the ball like you've been practicing. And you open up your thing and grab your progress monitor and write the date, and you give him a 2 because that's how he did. So these rubrics can be used when you're looking at the IEP and it says, how are you measuring it? My favorite things to check are structured observation or teacher observation or work samples. I keep the work sample, and I'll even sometimes I even have to grade it later, if you just can't get there, but I try to do it during the session so that it doesn't fall through the cracks. But this is a great way to keep your progress monitoring up to date and to do it in an easy and simple way. And then I've included a monthly tracker so that you can just quickly go at the end of the month and say, September, he scored 10 out of 10 or, whatever. And then you can see the actual progress. It's easy to do, and it's all pen and pencil. I know digital is all the way, but when I'm with my student, I'm not digital. I have a folder and a pencil, and I'm trying to, get to what I'm doing. So I'm going to go into a couple of other things that I want to share with you guys. I know it's 8 o'clock already, and I'm sorry. I talk so much and I try to talk so fast, and I still have so much to say, but you guys always have awesome questions, and I can't help but look at these great comments. So Vision 101 is opening tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. It says on sale now. It's actually on sale tomorrow morning. And if you got yourself on the waiting list, then I will email you tomorrow so that you don't miss the early bird special. Vision 101 covers all of the stuff that we talked about tonight and more. And it's a 4.5 hour AOTA approved web online on demand. You have 6 months to access it. The early bird special is $99 for 2 days. Then it goes to $127. It's only available 2 times a year. So just want to let you guys know, if you're thinking that you're interested in learning more, this is a great opportunity. It's only $99, and you can take it when you want to take it. You can also do it. You can get a purchase order if your school district will, pay for it for you. That's fine. Just let us know. Also, this is what I'm super, super excited about, and I hope you guys love it and are excited too. But a couple of years ago, I released a visual perception workbook. It was my take on so many of the worksheets and so many of the things that I see, but with an OT twist. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what it looks like and why I think it's so amazing. Don't forget, you guys, I can tell some people are having to go, and that's totally fine, but we're going to be offering prizes in like a couple minutes. So if you can hang out, then do so. If you're on the wait list, Lauren, we can take the course. If you're on the wait list, you'll get the emails that the course is open and that you can register. So yes. So my visual perception workbook, I want to just say that I'm so excited to be releasing the second version of it. And I'm doing a bonus. If you purchase either Vision 101 or the Visual Perception Workbook Revised, you will automatically get a free bonus, which is the Visual Perception Milestone Screener. This is a couple of pages long, and it's just like I said, a milestone screener where you can look at your kids' ages and check off, can they do this? At this age, they're supposed to be able to do this. Can they? Check, check. And it's all normal stuff that you'd be doing in your OT sessions, or that you'd be doing with your child at home, or that you'd be doing even that a parent might be doing and playing with the child. It's great for therapists, definitely. So that is a free bonus if you purchase either of the 2 Vision products in the next 24 hours. So I want to just show you about the workbook because I'm so excited about it. I'm totally a geek, but I just love it. And when the first version came out, you get feedback about what could be improved and things like that. So we redid it. There's 4 sections. The first section is all about patterns. So this might look like a typical worksheet that you'd see from Teachers Pay Teachers that the kindergarten teachers are doing. It is with an OT twist. So it's not just a bird, a leaf, a bird, a leaf, a bird, a leaf. It's 2 birds, very similar. So now the kids need to use visual discrimination. Some are turned left, some are turned right. We're working on laterality and spatial orientation. And then at the bottom, they're cutting out the shape that matches. So they also have to put it into the square in the right way. The tracking sheet lets you go to what patterns they did and what their rubric score was. How did they do? Did they get 5 out of 5? Or did they get 2 out of 5? And there's 21 different categories of each section. So there's 21 pattern sheets. Some of them are seasonal, so you can do like apples or pumpkins or Thanksgiving or Christmas. You can also do ones that are generic, like toys and sports and trains. So you can use it throughout the year and keep record of how the child did in terms of getting better and standardizing. And there is progress monitoring on the bottom. Then we have the orientation worksheets. These are all left, right sheets. The child has to, with the OT twist. The OT twist is I want you to circle the ones that are facing left, and I want you to put a square around the ones that are facing right. So not only are we now working on visual motor, but we're working on their left, right. So all of these sheets are designed to work on multiple different things. And again, you have the tracking sheet that goes with this section. So you can do all the different categories and keep track throughout the year. That's my favorite part. Also, the percentages. If you guys were in the handwriting webinar the other day, the percentage chart on the side is like, okay, so he got, 10 out of 15. Look on the side, that's 65% done. Takes just a second, which I love. So Kim Mangano saying, what age range is your workbook appropriate for? I would say from 4 to middle school. Some of the stuff is very easy and some of the stuff is hard, but everything can be adapted to make it easier. So I'll say that. This is a figure ground section. So there's all different categories. There's different levels as well. Some of the sheets have 20 things to find. Some of the things have 30 things to find, and some have 40 things to find. And again, you can track it on the progress monitor. So I love it. And there's your monthly tracking sheet to again have that information. And then you can use your rubrics because they're cutting and they're drawing circles, and you can assess that as well too. So this one is my absolute favorite. So if you guys are thinking about leaving or if you're getting distracted, come back to me. This is so cool, especially if you're an old school OT. The rotation worksheets. I included this because I used to do the MVPTR. Do you guys remember that sheet? I don't even know if it's still in there, but it's like the ducks, and it's like all of these ducks are the same shape. However, one has been flipped over like a pancake. Which one? And my kiddos were always like, what? Huh? What are you saying? Like they had no idea. They've never done anything like that before. And I just couldn't put my finger on it. Like, is that why they're doing so badly? Or is it really an issue with this task? So what I did with this section of the worksheet, and there's 21 of them again, is I made different shapes. They're all the same picture, but one of them is flipped. They're all rotated. So the child has to look at all the things and figure it out. If they can't figure it out, on the next page, I have a clock and a spinner. The kids can cut out the shapes, put them on the spinner, and then make it work. So, like this, okay? They're going to cut out the different shapes. This is what's much easier, okay? You cut out the snowflake. If they aren't sure, they can cut out the snowflake or the candy cane, put it on the clock, and turn it to see if it matches. So I want to just show this very cute little thing. Here's the example, okay? They can turn it with their hand and see, okay, does it work? Does it match? That makes sense? They can physically figure it out spatially. I mean, it's just they're actually working through it instead of just being assessed on something that they've never done before. So that is I'm such a geek. I love that so much. And it's definitely it takes a little bit of time, but it works on so many different skills. So again, this is all included in the Visual Perceptual Workbook. It's available for sale right now. We'll give you the link. And if you buy it in the next 24 hours, we do have the Visual Perceptual Screener that will be your bonus. The Visual Perceptual Screener will come in your email tomorrow. So don't worry if you don't see it right away. I'll also be emailing you guys about Vision 101 if you're interested. Make sure you're on the wait list. Otherwise, you may not get the emails. So let's talk prizes, guys. Thank you. I didn't mean to go 10 minutes over, but I did. I loved chatting with you all. Let's do prizes. So Miss Kim, my lady, Have you got some names for me? Hiya Gutsman. Yes, I see your comments. I'm sorry. There's actually literally hundreds and hundreds of comments, so I can't comment on them all, but I do miss you. I hope I see you soon. Okay, waiting for Kim to give us the names. Who's winning Miss Haley OT's cutie cutie stuff? Lots of people are loving the t-shirts. I know. I love the um regulate before expectation. So good. Okay. I'm wondering, maybe my Kim had to step away. I'm not seeing the names. Okay, so I'm going to choose. Oh, here we go. Laura Alway. You are our first winner, and you are going to get a customized water tumbler from Miss Haley OT, and you get to pick it, whatever one you want. Don't forget for the rest of you to check out the coupon code MJOT25 on her website. Very, very adorable. Okay, and our next name, we've got one more person who's going to win a free water tumbler. Maybe they'll choose the helping small hands do small things. That's what I chose. I just thought it was so cute. One more name, Laura Alway. You there? So Laura Alway, I want you to please email customer service at Miss Jamie OT, and we will get you hooked up with Miss Haley. And our next name, here it comes. I see the bubbles. I see the bubbles. Okay, I got a first name, Carol. Last name, Falquer. Okay, Carol. Congratulations. That's awesome. So again, email customer service at Miss Jamie OT. Thank you guys all who commented so wonderfully and for being so engaged. I appreciate it. And I hope that the rest of you would check out Miss Haley's shop. I was so excited that she was interested in sponsoring this webinar and getting all this amazing information out to you guys. It's so important to make sure that we're including vision in our kiddos, in their functional assessment. It's super important, Cassandra. The anticipation, ha ha ha. That wasn't on purpose. I wasn't trying to be like the Food Network on Chopped. The winner is. I'm just literally waiting. I want Kim to pick the names because I am unable to always look at all the comments, So I'm going to stay on. If anybody has questions that they want me to absolutely answer, I'm so happy to do that for you guys. And I hope you'll check out Vision 101 if you don't have vision training. It's a great opportunity. And Karen Lassman, so there's no attendance certificate for this course because there's no CEUs associated with it. There is a CEUs associated with Vision 101. And when you complete the assessment, the AOTA approved assessment, you will get a certificate attendance for that because it's CEU approved. I can't do CEUs for courses where I'm giving out prizes and talking about my OT crushes and, that kind of stuff. But I still make sure that I fill it with lots of good info for you guys. So someone's saying, thank you for the free webinars. Heads up, my next free webinar is going to be in November, and we're going to be talking about advocacy. I know I talk about it a lot. We're going to be kind of gearing up, moving forward, and sharing some success stories that OTs have had in moving forward in the school system. So it can motivate the rest of us to keep advocating for change because we deserve to have what everybody else has because our kids deserve for us to have it, right? So thank you guys. Someone's saying thank you. Lots of thank yous. Thank you guys. I do appreciate you joining me on a weeknight for an hour and 15 minutes when you could be watching Netflix. I get it. And I appreciate you as well. So thank you for joining me. Oh, I am noticing. How is that? My battery is about to run out. I'm going to plug in just so I don't miss any questions that anybody might have. Have a wonderful school year. You too, Christina. Thank you for coming. Someone's saying they can't see the comments. I think the comments might not be showing in YouTube. How do we purchase the visual workbook? You can go to Miss Jamie OT shop, but I think that the link is also in the comments. Let me just double check. I can see if I have a ticker. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's in my shop with a big yellow star on it, on sale, and the link is in here in the comments that you can just click and go. I'm excited that you guys are interested in the workbook because I just love it, and I think it's just so useful. So, I'm excited that you guys think that too. You always wanna hear what other OTs think, you know? And that's was one of the reasons why I made a second version. Thank you for the prize, but even more for all the useful information. You're welcome, Laura. Okay, so email customer service at Miss Jamie OT to so that we can hook you up with your water bottle, okay? Perfect for back to school. Okay. Doesn't look like we have any big questions left. Just going to scroll through and double check. Someone's saying, I had a student who would focus. Okay, let's look at this question. On her extended thumb, but however, when the thumb was brought closer, her eyes went all over the place and she couldn't focus on near point. Wow. So how amazing. I hope you're the one that uncovered that because that is so going to impact that kid's reading and everything else. There's a lot of activities that are not so hard to do to work on that. So that's great. Okay. Not seeing the link for the workbook. Kim, can you put this link in the comments and instead of these comments, but in the actual comments of the webinar in Facebook and in YouTube? Yes, it was me. I am an OTA. Actually, you can't click on it? Oh, yes. So not on the ticker, but in the actual comments, like where you're writing. Okay, good. Cool. Okay. Thank you guys. It will also be in the email that I'm going to be sending you. I'll send everybody the replay and you can click on it there. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate all of you. I do the free webinars because the support that I have gotten from all of you over the years has just been it's been relentless. So, I just always want to give back. It's an important part of what I do and why I do it. So, thank you for joining me and have a great night. Don't forget to like and heart and follow on YouTube if you're on YouTube so you get notifications. Oh, and share with a colleague or a friend if you think that they would benefit. Okay.